the star of the NBA on TNT, and had the road to the Final Four as well. Charles Barkley joining us on the show. You tired?
No, I'm good to go now. It's only bad the first weekend when you're on for 12 straight hours. Once you get past, especially the first 2 days, after that, it's good to go. It's a great event. You ever been to the Final Four?
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times. I love Saturday's games. There's usually one good one and one bad one, but I like Saturday, the Final Four.
Yeah, I totally agree. That Saturday Final Four is one of the coolest things I've ever did.
John Calipari's future. Do you believe Rex Chapman when he says done deal, or his source says to the Lakers? Can you see that happening? Let's put it that way.
Man, John Calipari too smart to take the Lakers job. The Lakers going to stink for the next 2 or 3 years. John's too smart for that. That guy's a hell of a coach, but he's not stupid enough to take the Lakers job.
Well, it's only bad for 2 more years, Chuck, and then you're coaching the Lakers.
Well, that depends on what free agents they get. You can't assume somebody's going to come there in 2 years. That's a big assumption. I mean, everybody keeps saying that, like, well, in 2 years, all these teams going to have cap space. You're assuming those are big assumptions. Like, well, Phil Jackson went to the Nets, the Knicks, excuse me. In 2 or 3 years, everybody's going to want to go to the Knicks. I don't believe that. Or if John takes the Lakers job, everybody's going to want to go to the Lakers in 2 years. I don't believe that, to be honest with you.
Okay, what team's in better shape, the Knicks or the Lakers?
Well, they are both in bad shape. I mean, they're at least 2 or 3 years away from contending. At least more like 3 or 4. The Knicks they got a bunch of players they got to keep for a couple more years. They got to make a decision on Carmelo. The Lakers got Kobe Bryant for a couple more years. Then hopefully they can get a couple of free agents. But neither team is going to be competitive in the next couple of years. So that's not a really right answer for that question, to be honest with you.
Memphis beat the Heat last night. Memphis not going to make the playoffs. They would be the 3 seed in the East. Would the NBA ever consider reseeding? So you had the 16 best teams, not just the 8 best teams in the East, 8 in the West?
I don't think they ever consider that because it's always a floating model, to be honest with you. Remember, Dan, when I played, we didn't have any respect for anybody in the West but the Lakers. We should look forward to those 2-week road trips, like who we can get some wins. Because even back in my day, you played the Hawks, you had Dominique and Kevin Willis. Milwaukee had Sidney Moncrief. Obviously, the Detroit had the Bad Boys. I mean, the East was so much better than the West. I mean, when I played, to be honest with you, we said, okay, we're going to have a hard game, obviously against the Lakers, and maybe the Portland Trail Blazers. The rest of the Western Conference, they just try to outscore you. So it was an easy game to play. No, I don't think they're ever going to do that.
He's Charles Barkley, NBA on TNT, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Do you have an MVP vote?
I do not.
And if you did?
It would go to Kevin Durant because he's having a better year. Dan, the thing that's amazing to me, every year we had this little silly discussion. Steve Nash wasn't the best player. What we do is we look at the best players. Whoever team's having the best record, that's who we get MVP to. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird didn't win the MVP every year. One of the guys who were having a better year won it. But that's this little silly debate that comes up every year. It never went to the best player. Because, come on, Magic Johnson wasn't the best player every year. Larry Bird wasn't the best player every year. Michael Jordan wasn't the best player every year. I mean, Steve Nash got 2. I got 1. Karl Malone got a couple. Derrick Rose got 1. It goes to the guy who's having the best year. And I think that Kevin Durant's having the best year. Russell Westbrook's missed a lot of time. Obviously, he plays against better competition in the Western Conference. I mean, listen, nobody's got a chance of beating the Heat but the Pacers. And everybody's talking Brooklyn. Brooklyn is not going to beat the Miami Heat in a 7-game series. I still think the Pacers got a really good chance. I'm looking forward to when those 2 teams play in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm really looking forward to that series. Man, there's a lot of weight LeBron got to carry. There's a lot of weight LeBron has to carry on that team. He has to do it all. And at some point you wonder if he's going to be able to do it or he's going to break down physically. Because that team, they got no big guys, and he got a lot of work to do.
I would give it to LeBron.
Why?
Because he doesn't know when Wade is playing. I don't think it's a great team by any stretch. And it would be close. I respect what Durant is doing. He's a given 25, 30 a night. I grant grant you that he does that. LeBron has to do everything for that team. Some nights it's scoring, sometimes it's defense or assist. He can do something different every single night, and he has to, because Wade hasn't been there. Bosh has become a three-point shooter. Ray is getting older. Battier, you can't count on anybody every single night there, any night for that team.
Some great points, Dan. Great points. But like I say, Kevin Durant has not had Russell Westbrook a lot this year. And when Russell Westbrook is back, it's taking him some time to get his game in order. So that to me is a wash with the Dwayne Wade thing. But also, Dan, he played against so much better competition in the Western
Conference. Night in, night out. Yeah, I'll give you that.
I mean, much better.
Okay, but who has a better chance of winning a title?
Well, I think they both pretty got a good chance this year. I think there's 5 legitimate teams in the NBA. In the East is Indiana and Miami. In the West is OKC, Clippers, and the Spurs. I think there's only 5 teams that can win the championship.
So not the Rockets.
And I think the Rockets don't have a chance. They can't. They don't play in the defense. They on the perimeter. They can't guard anybody, especially at the point guard, because you have to beat Tony Parker, Russell Westbrook, and Chris Paul. If you can't guard the point, you can't win a championship in the Western Conference. That's the toughest position in the NBA right now. And I just don't see the Rockets. That's just my opinion now. I won't always say that.
Yeah.
But the Rockets can't win it, in my opinion.
Did you get in trouble with Jordan when you called him the cheapest guy? I just saw.
Oh man, Michael can take a joke. I hope he can take a joke. I mean, I don't worry too much about what other people think about. They know. Come on, we're on TV trying to make people laugh. I mean, Michael obviously has been. He's notoriously a cheap tipper. Same thing with Tiger. Same thing. They call him no tipping Scottie Pippen. But everybody's got to be able to take a joke at themselves, man. Michael know I love him.
Why don't they tip?
Why are you asking me?
Well, you're friends with them.
I can't make them tip. I can't tell other people what to do with their cash.
Okay, I get the feeling that they feel like they're doing somebody a favor by going to a place, therefore they don't have to tip.
I think there's some truth to that. The one thing you always figure out, these restaurants leak what people are having dinner. They do get free publicity,
yes,
but that doesn't make up for the waiters and waitresses. No, because they get paid, obviously, they don't get paid what they deserve. And everybody doesn't tip. That's what the problem is. I always tip a minimum of 20%. And most people, they don't tip 20%. Like if the bill's the bill's $17, I think most people just give the service $20 and think it's good.
Yeah. What's the most you ever tipped?
I think $75,000 before.
So you won at blackjack?
Yeah, I won like $1.4 million one weekend, and I ended up giving the dealer like $75,000. That's a cumulative effect, though, Dan, over like a weekend.
Yeah. What's the reaction?
It's not. No, I think see, one of the problems with dealers is they have to share with everybody. That one dealer does not get that, and they rotate every hour or so. So over a 2-day period, if you're doing well, you should tip. But also, they are at a disadvantage. They have to. One dealer doesn't get the whole tip. First of all, I don't win that much money that often. That's like one of those home run weekends.
What was that night like after you won $1.4 million?
Well, the first thing you do, you throw it all on the bed, and you dive on the bed and scream like a mother, and say, because gambling is you're always going to lose more than you win.
Were you naked?
Was I naked? I think I had my clothes on at the time. But, Dan, you get excited when you win when you're gambling because you don't win. You're always going to lose more than you win. Anybody, and I always hear people tell me they're a good gambler. They're full of it. There's no such thing as a good gambler. If you get bad cards, you're not a good gambler. But when you win, you should be excited. Anytime you win when you're gambling, you should be excited because, man, it doesn't happen that often.
Have you played Augusta?
I have never played Augusta. I think that I need to do that one time in my life. I think I should go to the Masters too. I haven't ever did that, but I think now that I'm getting older, I want to do everything in my life. Like I want to go to a Notre Dame football game. I think that's next year. I'm gonna go to a Notre Dame football game because I want to see that stadium one time in my life. But I think I need to see Augusta because they tell me it's one of my. I can't wait for the coverage to start today.
Yeah,
I love golf. Period. I do. I already called a casino for this weekend. I need a TV above the blackjack table because I'm going out for the Pacquiao-Bradley fight, and I already told the casino on my private blackjack table I want a TV so I can watch golf the whole time.
Are you betting on somebody out there to win?
I want to see the odds because I'm not getting there till Friday, and I want to see what they got left on the board. But I will tell you this: if I was going to bet, I would always take the field. You can't pick one golfer in any golf tournament. I would always put a nice chunk of change on the field.
I took the field in the NCAA tournament with Steve Kerr. I said, I'll give you the top 5 favorites according to Vegas, and I'll take the field. And you won. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's too hard to pick. Man, everybody want to act like there's no such thing. You know what I hate when the guys get on TV, they say, well, these guys are experts. Nobody's an expert, Dan. You're just a guy giving your opinion. I watched this show on ESPN last year. They were doing the college basketball tournament, and they called the show The Experts. And the thing that was fun about it, every coach on there had been fired. And I was like, what? I was on the floor rolling. They called the show The Experts, and every coach had gotten fired. They couldn't get a job.
Speaking of getting fired, mixed reports on Mike D'Antoni with the Lakers. Do you keep him because the team is not going to be good anytime soon, or do you fire him to start the rebuilding process?
Well, let me say this. I think the way that Mike D'Antoni and Mike Woodson have been treated this year is a disgrace for both organizations. Listen, I understand people get hired and fired, but what the Knicks have done to Mike Woodson and what the Lakers are doing to Mike D'Antoni, I think it's a travesty. And I believe in karma. I don't hope bad things, but bad things happen to people who treat them bad. Dan, listen, the Lakers aren't going to be any good for the next couple of years. I just hate the way they've treated Mike, because Mike D'Antoni is a good guy and a good coach. Same thing with Mike Woodson. I just hate the way they have been treated. Well,
you going Pacquiao or Bradley? Who are you betting on?
Well, last time they robbed me. That was highway robbery. I want you to know that. I haven't gotten over that one. Because obviously Pacquiao dominated the fight. I didn't even think the fight was close.
Yeah.
And when they said that Bradley won, I wanted to kill somebody that night. That was a travesty. That was highway robbery. But I think that Bradley's going to get him this time.
Wow.
I do. I think that man has just been through too many wars, and he won that first fight. But I don't think he's going to win. I think Bradley's going to get this one.
Safe travels, brother. Thanks for joining us.
All right, my brother. I'll see you somewhere. God bless all you guys, all the nerds in the background.
All right. Thank you, Charles. Charles Barkley, that being the Danettes.